So what happened with the women's Money in the Bank? I know you guys had to do that match twice. Was there like legit backlash because you got involved, or was that always the plan?
That was always the plan. So it's funny you bring that up. That was 7 years ago today.
Oh wow.
So I remember I was in the office with Vince and John Laurinaitis, and John Laurinaitis goes, James, Vince wants you to go up the ladder and you grab it and you give it to Carmella. But I told him we shouldn't do that because it's the first ever women's Money in the Bank and it's a historic. And Vince goes, God damn it, that's why we do it. Like that's yeah. And Vince goes, look, we'll do this. It'll be great. It'll create controversy, and we'll do the second women's Money in the Bank on SmackDown a week from now, and it'll pop a rating. And dude, Vince was so smart about wrestling
Wow. Yeah.
that that popped a rating for SmackDown that went up 25% from the week before. 25%.
Wow.
And yeah, dude, he's a genius. That's why he's the Walt Disney of wrestling. I get he has allegations too and whatever. Yeah, but that none of that matters. That's people's personal lives. That don't matter. When it comes to wrestling, he was the Walt Disney of wrestling. He made it what it is today. He was the smartest guy ever. He made the most money ever out of wrestling. And when it comes to wrestling, I can't help but to respect the man. He was very, very smart.
Last thing before we go, can I just mention some names? Tell me the first thing come to your head. If you want to tell me a quick story, how you feel about them, I'll just
Cool.
okay. Bray Wyatt.
Friend, man, he was so good to me. Friend's the first thing that comes to mind, the first word, because here's a quick story. So when I first signed with WWE, I was still dressing in the extras locker room because I wanted somebody to invite me to the WWE locker room. And one day I'm walking into the arena and he's walking next to me and he goes, hey man, no more of that extra talent locker room stuff. He goes, you're one of us, you're signed here, you're doing a great job. He goes, walk in with me. So I walked in with him and he goes, hey, Ellsworth's with us now. If anybody has an issue, just let me know. And no one said anything because Bray was so respected. And he was such a good friend with me, man. I like tear up every time I think about him because like he was so good to me, man. He's such a great guy and I miss him.
The Miz.
I laugh when I say the Miz. So the Miz at first, I don't think got me. He didn't understand me. And then when I turned heel with Carmella, I got to the back, right? Like after like my first Carmella promo, I get to the back and he goes, now I understand you. He's like, now I understand why they hired you. He's like, that was so good. And it just like with WWE, they think, oh man, you need to go through NXT, you need to go through FCW, you got to go through the system like they did. Like they're some of those guys didn't think like, why is this guy like he didn't go through our system, but he's getting a lot of TV time, And the Miz was one of those guys at first, and once I turned heel, he really started helping me, and like was like really in. So good guy. That's why he's been there 20 years. He's smart. He gets it, and very very funny.
Daniel Bryan.
Very funny, man. Such a dry sense of humor. Such a great in-ring talent. We almost wrestled on SmackDown 1000, the foulest episode of SmackDown when he came back from injury after missing a couple of years. We were scheduled to wrestle each other, and they scratched it out. I was so sad because I wanted to work with him so much. He helped me out a lot too. Yeah.
Roman Reigns.
After Cena, the GOAT, the greatest of this generation, held the title for over 3 years. Is the main attraction on there. When he comes back, he's going to be a huge baby face. Yeah, the greatest of this current generation is him.
Last one, Undertaker.
Undertaker's on the Mount Rushmore of WWE. 30-year career there. I mean, so many generations from 1990 to 2020. Like
Crazy.
30 years, like of all that money they made off of merchandising and best character of all time, best wrestling character ever.
For sure. James, anything you want to plug? Any social media?
Yeah, like check my wrestling promotion out at acwtix.com. Check me out on Instagram at James Ellsworth Wrestling, Twitter or X, they call it these days, at Real Ellsworth. And thank you, man. Dwayne says, like I told you before we got on here, Dwayne says nothing but good things about you. So I appreciate you.
Awesome.
He's a great guy. So if you're a friend of his, you're a friend of mine. Take care. God bless. Remember, any man with two hands has a fighting chance.